Okay, so Advent of Code 2020. I've been waiting all day to start this. Before we log on and start programming, of course, we're going to take a look at the first day and read all the stuff for our first challenge. After saving Christmas 5 years in a row, let's take a vacation. Yeah, that sounds good. A tropical island with a currency in stars. Get our 50 stars, 2 per day. That's good. So, before we can leave, the elves need to fix my expense report. Something isn't adding up. Find 2 entries that sum up to 2020 and multiply those numbers together. That shouldn't be too hard. Of course, your expense report is much larger. Find the 2 entries that sum up to 2020. Well, we better start prepping our environment to do all these challenges. So we log on to our trusted operating system, and we best start with allocating ourselves a new nice little data set to store all our stuff. I think I will call it AOC 2020 .rex in case we do something else. Get rid of this maybe. We don't need this. I'd like this in cylinders. That should be more than enough. Yeah, that sounds good. So, .2020. Let's get our first member in day 1, part 1. We'll make that a bit nicer. Maybe do day 01 P01. So, the first challenge I'm gonna try and Rex. So we get a whole list of numbers, and we need to find 2 numbers that add up to be 2020. So we're gonna have to do a very exhaustive search through all of them and all the other ones. I'm betting we're gonna get a large number of numbers as our challenge input. So we'll start with a stem to just play test our code. Right? What are these things? Those is entries. Entries. Something. And then let's do 10 of them. Right? Entries. Let's do that example list there. Entries. .1 equals 1721. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see if this works. Copy the numbers from here, paste them in there. Of course that doesn't work. Get rid of these things, and then maybe we do a text edit, put them in there. It all goes haywire. So we're gonna be non-lazy and just type them in. 979 366. Get the pointer out of the way. 299 675 and that one. So we need to loop through this thing. For each number we need to match all the other ones, and then find if we see a a sum that is 2020. So very naively, I am of course gonna have to set our amount to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is 1, 2 entries dot 0, and do I equals j equals 1, 2 entries dot 0 if j equals I, because if they're the same thing then we want to skip this obviously. I'm just going to iterate. Else if entries dot I plus entries dot j equals 2020, then do end. Insert, say, entry I and entry j add up to 2020. The answer is entries.I times entries.j. That should work. Maybe need some end statements here. One more here. So let's see what we have when we execute this. Entry 1 and entry 4, and entry 4 and entry 1. That is nice, they're doubled up. So we might want to make this code a bit more efficient to remove the things that we don't need. Because once we check 1 and 4, we don't need to check 4 again. So remove it from the list. Let's build that in too. To make it a bit more efficient. So if I and j is the match, then we can, we're never going to pass I again, but we need to remove j. So if j is done, then iterate entries.j equals done, and we are going to say entries.j equals done. Now we should only get one answer and not the double one. And we get a little bit of a boo-boo because that we don't want to make it 0, so we don't know if the test set has negative sets as well. So we don't really care. Let's get this out of here and let's make it not efficient then, see how that runs. Right, so let's get our puzzle input, which I was fearing is quite a long file. So we are going to copy that. I have my little trusty system services session here. So we are just going to go to the temp folder and do d1 p1 in or lack or something else. We're gonna, let's see if this works, paste that in. Don't need that here. We are gonna make a little input file. Do we make that here or do we read from USS? We are just gonna, we can stick it here for now. So d01 part 1 input. Copy /tmp /d01 p1 in. How did I call that? That. Right. So copy that there. Then we have all our little numbers. Skip that last empty line because we don't want breakage there. Right. Now we can start getting this thing in. If we can remember how to do that in Rex, we are going to let's see if we can do this without googling. Alloc dataset by the name of setdo.aoc2020.rex. Whoa! Well, that member name, whatever it was. And we call it in execio everything disk read in, and we stick that in the stem entries. Free file in Now that will load it all into the stem entries that we've now overwritten from our example. Get the correct member name, copy that, edit. Let's see what happens. Execute. The input file in is not allocated. Invalid dataset name. Yeah, the quote is in the wrong spot. That quote is in the wrong spot. That needs to be there, obviously. Missing file name. Told you we needed Google, so let's Google. Rex execio example. Additional examples. Thank you, IBM. No, we don't need that one. Execio ALLOC. Maybe add that. Let's see what we get. Yes. Scroll all the way down. Oh, that's a big one. Alloc. Let's see, what did we do wrong? Alloc file DA. Does that need to be up front? Maybe. You might want to say it's open in shared mode as well. And then an execio amount discrete from the thing, and that looks good. Let's just try it again. I use it share, not in catalog. This is starting to look more troublesome by the day. Alloc file in DA. Yeah, because that's when it opens from something. DA dataset setio yada. One of those to close it off. That should work. Oh, we get an answer. And now, if our code is correct, it should also say entry 59 and 15, which it does. So we are gonna not paste that as our answer. We're gonna paste this, and woohoo! We got our first gold star. Well, on with part 2. Let's see what the change is. Starfish coin. Ooh. 3 numbers that meet the same criteria. The 3 entries that sum up to that. Right. So basically, we are just keep part 1 and 2. Or do we make it separate? We make a separate one. Select D01 part 02. Copy D01 part 01. We can get rid of this whole bunch here. Don't need this. And then we need one more iteration. That is something to think about. So that stays the same. I think this all has to be indented. So we can do a do A equals 1 to entries dot 0. And then we have to think a bit. Because now we have, if j equals, I then iterate, and we have to do that here as well. If I equals A, then iterate. Right, so we don't do all those things the same way. And then here, probably entries dot A plus I plus J. Say, let's make this a bit shorter, or not. Entry A A and entry I, that should work. I think this just works. Let's see what we get. Of course, this is gonna run for a while until I start fearing that it's looping, but I don't know, because this is doing a very big exhaustive search. Ooh, well, 53, 115, 127. Let's just keep this for now and just put it in our external memory. VI system sum. So we have it. Ooh. We get multiple answers. 53, 120. Of course, because our code doesn't give the correct answer, because it only multiplies I and j. But we need to also multiply that by entries.a. Well, let's make that a bit nicer, like so. Do it again. Would be nice to fix this thing. I think I need to do a close or a finish in that execio statement. Let's see if our example says something. Yeah, it's probably a finish we need. Yeah, close to file so it can be freed. That's what we need. So I copied that. Now I need to copy this. Let's just see what we get. Well, that looks solid. Select this, copy. And there you have it. Day 1 is completed. Well, of course we're gonna share our victory. Code in GitHub shortly via, of course, we're gonna use Ziggy for that. Let's do it like that. Rex code in GitHub shortly. Why is that a capital? And of course we need a good thing on, I don't know. Yeehaw. That one will do. Tweet. Well, that concludes the first recording.